Kuma bear cap. I know I look ridiculous, but it's cold today. And I don't want to be running the heat constantly. So let's just, let's give it a couple minutes here. It's Tuesday. It's kind of early, 3:25 Pacific time. I'm April Davis, PI. It's February 17th, 2026. And I need to update you somewhat on the Nancy Guthrie case. But let's get some people in here. Let me switch up my iPad here. Get over to the live tab. Mute the volume. Yeah, I tried to do this a little bit earlier, but it was just way too early. Let's see if we can get a crowd. I hope people aren't getting tired of this story, because it's getting more interesting by the day. We're only at a minute and a half. We'll give it a few minutes, and if it doesn't work out, we'll just scrap it for today. If you're here in the chat, please type in your name. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you're watching on the replay, you might want to fast forward for, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, just till we get into the nitty gritty of this, while we'll just wait to get people in. So I'm not just, talking to Kuma here. I have a lot of strain on my voice from going live so many days, so I don't want to say like too much until we get people in here that are actually listening and watching. I've been getting a lot of people in on my lives lately, and thank you so much for that. And thank you to those who may be watching this on the playback. If you're watching it on the playback, please hit the like button, hit that thumbs up, and please subscribe to April Davis PI. Feel free to make a comment if you're watching on the playback. Hey, 6 people, how you doing? Somebody type their name into the chat. Let me know that you can see me and hear me. I've got my Kuma bear cap today. We have cold, stormy weather again in Los Angeles. Kind of unusual, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of wintry. Lots of snow in the mountains. Hello. So, Rob, Allie, how are you? Karen, hey, nice to see you. Oh, we have 12 people now. Well, let's just get into this. I'm April Davis, PI, and it is Tuesday, February 17th. I'm live from Los Angeles. Excuse the Kuma bear cap. It's just due to the weather today. I need to give you a quick update on this Nancy Guthrie case. A lot has happened. I'm not saying that I'm solving the case, but I'm putting a lot of pieces together. When Nancy Guthrie, or not Nancy, but her daughter Savannah, I'm doing well. When she made that statement the other day, it almost sounded to me like she was speaking to someone personal, not just the kidnapper or kidnappers or abductors or whoever's involved in all this mess. But she specifically said it's never too late and you're not lost or alone. It's never too late to do the right thing. Now, I don't know about you, but that kind of made me feel like she was talking to someone very specific. And I think she just made that statement on Sunday, just, like 2 days ago. This was subsequent to the raids that went down in Arizona on Friday the 13th. I am from Los Angeles, so Rob. I just thought it sounded very, very specific, like she was speaking to someone. And I did report, I did do, videos on what happened with those raids and even corrections on the streets and the names and the people and who was detained and who was released. But there's another big piece of information about this. The night before those raids, or the day before on the 12th, There was uh, a local woman, 32 years old, Kayla Noel Day. Middle name is spelled Noel, so it could be Noel or it could be Noel. Usually females pronounce it Noel, although it's spelled like Noel. So let's just call her Kayla Noel Day, age 32. She is in the slammer right now. And she's not in the slammer for the Nancy Guthrie case. She has a long criminal history, drugs, drug trafficking, drug paraphernalia. Yeah. Turns out she is very personally connected to this Luke Anthony Day. And, his mom's house was raided that night. Her name is Mary Champion Day, I believe. And he has a brother that was there named Matt Day. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Karen. Later that evening, the Range Rover was, pulled over. And there's been so much information. And I'm sure it's not all accurate. We got Metro Man, the guy from Amman, Jordan, connected to that Range Rover. Now they're connecting Luke Daly to that Range Rover. There's still some transactions that occurred with that car, supposedly the day after Nancy's disappearance. But this girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, who's currently in the slammer, with no bail, by the way, within 24 hours or less of her being detained for whatever crimes they detained her for, unrelated to this case, all these search warrants came down in Marana, Shadow Hills, the situation with the car, the Range Rover down at Culver's. That all happened very, very quickly after this woman was detained. And this woman, this Kayla Day, is rumored, and I do say rumored, I can't confirm any of this, that she is possibly a niece or a grandniece of Nancy Guthrie, who was abducted. She may be a cousin or second cousin of Savannah Guthrie. We're not really sure if she's a niece or a cousin, or this is just complete BS. But a lot of people are saying that she's related to the Guthrie family. And she's connected to these yahoos that are involved in drug trafficking. Okay? And the house where the boyfriend, the boyfriend's brother, the boyfriend's mom live is less than 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's house, which is in Catalina Hills. Am I saying that right? I'm so tired today. I had to go get my x-rays. It took me 3 attempts, but I finally got it done. The Catalina foothills. This Shadow Hills is either right next to or part of that neighborhood. It's a subdivision less than 2 miles away. I've seen she has a long record, Karen. This Kayla Noel Day. She has a very long criminal record for some girl that's only 32 years old. And I can't prove that she is related to the Guthrie family, but I go back to, I just got my notes here. I go back to that interview that I played the other day with Savannah Guthrie. It was not an interview, but she made a statement and she posted it on her official Instagram account where she said, "It's never too late and you're not lost or alone, and it's never too late to do the right thing." Was she talking to this girl? Is the Guthrie family related to this woman? Is she or her choice of friends involved in this? How is her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, significant other, Luke Anthony Daly, how is he connected to the Range Rover and the man from Amman, Jordan? The man who a lot of internet sleuths says looks like the guy wearing the ski mask. Now, I'm not saying that because the guy's wearing a ski mask and it's, taken in the dark. Now, the ransom notes the TMZ announced today they're just done with this guy. They're just done. But apparently the FBI is still very interested in the first ransom because whoever wrote the ransom note and provided a Bitcoin address to deposit the ransom knew something about either the crime or something in the house that they couldn't have known if they weren't there during the crime. That's why they took the note seriously. I'm still not taking it seriously. I'm still not taking this as a legit kidnapping unless it's somebody closely to her that abducted or kidnapped, but not for ransom, but maybe just to get rid of her. I don't know. Could be a kidnapping for ransom. It could be somebody in the family that just wanted to get rid of her. I'm leaning more towards a familiar connection to this case, but I don't know. There's definitely more than one person involved. These people are definitely, in my opinion, not professional kidnappers. There's just two. Oh, hi, June. I didn't see you come in. Hi, Jose. I just wanted to get this out there about there's this woman incarcerated, but not for the Nancy Guthrie case. At least not yet. And I don't think she would be able to have access to a cell phone. You know, I've never been incarcerated. I've never been arrested, but I don't think she would have access to a TV or a cell phone while she's in the slammer with no bail. I don't think she would have seen that interview, or not interview, but that statement that came out with Savannah Guthrie on Sunday. That was on her official Instagram page. Finally treating myself to that diet root beer or root beer zero sugar that I talked about that I would have after my surgery. After 3 attempts to get 1 x-ray, which turned out to be 4, and driving through a rainstorm to finally get it and having to go to 3 different places, I treated myself to a diet root beer. Don't judge. Hi, love your hat. Must be chilly there. Yes, it is very chilly. This is a Seattle Mariners Kuma Bear cap. Everybody, thumbs up. I agree with Jose. Thumbs up. Thank you, Jose. Celebrate, you deserve it. I think so. I really do. I can't wait for baseball, and I can't wait for my birthday in April. Although I have no plans for that. I'm going to set the whole month of April aside for birthday and baseball. And hopefully no more surgeries this year. Dina, hey, how you doing? Thank you for yes, thank you, Dina, regarding the root beer. I'm going to order something from Amazon as soon as I can see that X-ray and see that the stones they're not like still there, or that they did break up into sand and I just haven't been able to see them yet. And it's also kind of nerve-wracking though, because I am a former cancer patient. I am a cancer survivor, and anytime they put you in a CT scan, a PET scan, an MRI, or even an X-ray, these were abdominal X-rays, it makes me a little nervous because you never know what they might discover while they're looking for the kidney stone situation. So, but this is just a follow-up. I'm going to have positive thoughts about it. If you guys could send me positive thoughts and prayers that these, X-rays show that, everything's going well. I don't think they can really see the kidney very well with the X-ray, but they'll be able to see if there's any stones stuck in there. So basically, your brother had a delivery today in Laguna. What does he do? Is he a pilot or something? Jose, we will pray for you, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. Where are you coming in from, Jose C? Haven't seen you before. Where are you coming in from? Hey, I got 12 people watching right now. Can you guys hit that thumbs up, hit those red hearts, smiley faces, whatever you can do on your end? It just helps, the YouTube algorithm. It shows engagement. I've been there, April. I had a 1.2 centimeter. Wow, that's huge. Kidney stone and 2 surgeries, almost 3, but had finally passed it. Oh, Ontario, Canada. My dad was Canadian, Jose. Welcome. Oh, he drives a truck. Okay. Well, then he's driving through some rain today, Karen. Wow. Yesterday, the water was like, imagine a car and the water's up to the door handles. Some places it was that deep. Um, and now we're just waiting for round 2 to come today. Um, there's something else I wanted to go over a little bit. I I I'm not sure I should have done this. You guys give me your opinions on this. I went down the psychic rabbit hole again. And I know that some people really do have a skill for that, but most people don't. Most people are just frauds. But there are a few people that have these huge YouTube channels. Hi, Husafel. Welcome back. You might want to see the beginning on the replay, Husafel. I went down the psychic rabbit hole again, and I listened to some woman. She's out of Australia. She has a big YouTube channel, and she doesn't like read the tarot cards or the Ouija board or anything like that. But she goes and she has a daughter who coincidentally is also named Kayla, because we've been talking about Kayla day to day. But she has a daughter, Kayla, that sits in front of a spirit box with headsets on, and as the woman calls out the questions, this daughter, Kayla of hers, listens and she shouts out the answers. And they supposedly, I don't think I really even believe in this, because, like, how could somebody come through a friggin' radio? I don't know how it works. I would love it if it really did work. There's a lot of people I'd love to talk to on the other side. Maybe I should hire somebody who could do that. But they were able to connect to Nancy Guthrie. And the sad part about that is if there's even a percentage that there's any reality to these psychics and spirit boxes, they were able to connect to her on the other side, which means that she's no longer with us. And a lot of information came out of that. But, you can go to another YouTube channel and you can hear other information and other opinions. She's alive, she's being held, she's dead. My original thought is she died in the house the evening that this happened. Somebody didn't kidnap her, they just came to kill her and take her away. But now I don't know. There's just, maybe she really was kidnapped, but I don't think by just some like random drug cartel or just some random stranger. You just don't go target an 84-year-old woman. I think that she, Nancy Guthrie, was specifically targeted. And there's a reason that she was specifically targeted. And I still think that it's somebody close to her. What did that psychic have to say, Karen? Karen says, I watched a psychic that channeled her. Well, I listened to a psychic that talked to her on a spirit box. And if what she says is true, she's dead and she drowned in a lake that's near a mountain that was freezing. And it doesn't sound good. But, I'm not going to go there and believe in that. But she said something in the end of the interview that she felt she wasn't worthy. And the psychic didn't say that. The voices that came through the spirit box said that, because she kind of implied that this was on the news and that a ransom was involved in sort of a roundabout way, and that she wasn't worthy enough. And even though I don't think I really even believe in that, as far as a psychic or a spirit box, that just got to my heart. Like she wanted her family to know, and there were these demands, and maybe she wasn't worthy enough. And it's just like, that's soul crushing. If there's a spirit out there that's had to leave this earth in a violent manner, and she doesn't think she was worthy enough for her ransom. Husapel says, sad to say, I believe she's thousands of miles away now. Yeah, this spirit box person said that she was on a long drive and she went to the south. I don't know. Channeling Eric. I'll have to listen to that. I try to stay away from that because that's just not reality for the most part. She even named a name and she described a car, and Ugh, it's just like, I don't know. I don't believe in any of this as far as the spirit box. But when she said that she wasn't worthy, like Nancy felt that about herself, that she wasn't worthy enough, I guess, for them to pay the ransom. That just like, it just like ripped my heart out. And I don't even know this woman. I don't even know Savannah Guthrie. Um, ah, it's just, they've got to solve this. And today they got the DNA back from one of the gloves, and it wasn't a match to anybody in CODIS, but that doesn't even mean that that glove that they tested has to do with the crime. Okay. And it's very unclear. Oh, hi, Kelly. It's very unclear if that glove was the one that was found on the side of the road or one that was found on the property or the 16 other gloves that they have. But for some reason, they sent it to a lab in Florida. But in order for the FBI to find it useful, it has to be sent to a lab in the state where the crime was committed. So now they've sent it back and it's being retested. But now they said that that person's DNA wasn't in CODIS. But they don't even know if that glove is involved in this case because we still don't know this other DNA that they got out of the house that was allegedly linked to a known felon, and now they're saying, well, it's linked to a male, but we don't know who. Is that the piece of evidence that went to Florida, or is that something else? If anybody knows more about this Range Rover and if it belonged to this Luke Anthony Daly or did it belong to this Jordanian man, we're calling him Metro Man here. Let me know. Uh, the glove could have been worn by a searcher. A lot of them were supposedly discarded by searchers. So I don't know which glove was actually sent to the lab in Florida, which has now come back to Arizona. But whatever glove it was, they don't have a CODIS hit. And they can put it through some ancestry sites, but they can't put it through the major ones like Ancestry.com and 23andMe.com because 23andMe.com and Ancestry.com, they don't allow it. But they can go to some of the smaller sites, but those sites may only have a couple million relatives of people in there or users. So, I mean, it can help. Hey, baby, my kitty cat, she wants to meow. Um, I'm just not convinced that the glove is whatever glove that they tested. Does that glove have anything to do with this crime? Kelly, you may want to watch the playback. We talked about this Kayla Noel Day, who is currently in a Tucson jail on no bail, but unrelated to Nancy Guthrie's case, but possibly she is a relative of the family. And she's hooked up with this Daly family, this Luke Daly, Matthew Daly, Mary Daly, the family of Luke, who was her boyfriend that she got arrested with last May. I believe it was in Marana on drug trafficking. She has a long criminal history. She's sitting in the slammer right now. And since she's been in the slammer, you know, they had all these search warrants that went down in Marana and Shadow Hills. And then on Sunday, Savannah made a statement saying it's never too late. You're not lost or alone. It's never too late to do the right thing. Hey, baby, you got to stop crying. Um, you know, you'll have to go through it again, so I don't have to just. She may need money, you know. This girl's only 32 years old, and she is reportedly a niece or a cousin of the Guthrie family. I don't know if that is true. We're just reporting what we're hearing on the news. I'm not doing an official investigation on this case. I'm not even unofficially investigating this case. I'm just reporting the case. I'm reporting what I've heard. And anytime I've made a mistake where, something was reported and I reported it or I relate it in a video, and then the next day I'm like, okay, it wasn't this street, it was that street, or it wasn't this name, it was that name. I'll correct myself and say, hey, that was wrong information. So that's why you need to watch the whole series on this from beginning to end if you're just coming in. Hey, it's okay, kitty. I think it's unlikely the masked man would leave a glove behind. Exactly. He looked so prepared on the doorbell video. Yes, he did. And I do know now that the FBI, they have turned over the names of 40 different individuals to local gun stores to talk specifically about the holster that didn't fit the gun that the person was carrying. Kelly says, in the ring video, man looked like he was wearing boxing gloves. Yeah, it was a Nest video, but it was similar to a Ring doorbell cam. It was a Nest cam. What do you need? Huh? Do you need me to feed you like right in the middle of the show? She's getting all lovey-dovey and she's rubbing her body all over me. So maybe, Kelly, can you just handle the chat, Kelly or Karen, while I just stand up for a moment and open up a can of wet cat food. Come here. Let's get some cat food. I'm going to open it right now, and then you can eat some supper. Okay? You can eat some supper. Here we go. It's right here. There you go. There you go. You know, the only problem is when I pop the lid to one of these cans, then the rabbit starts staring at me like, hey, 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 waitress. And it's not time for her to eat yet. You know, and then she'll be starving in the middle of the night if she eats her dinner now. So it's a constant struggle, people. She sounds like a warm-hearted person. Who, Nancy Guthrie or Savannah? And she's back. Yes, I am back. Thank you for handling the chat. Kelly says, I was hoping that this far into the investigation we would have info about whereabouts of their mom. Yeah, you know, I wish so too, Kelly. Lee says, hope your drive was okay this morning. Well, I tried to schedule the third trip to 3 different labs. I've been to 3. In between storms, but then we got this big, massive, rain shower that hit from the last storm. And I'm like, hey, I thought it was going to dry out. By the time I came out of there, it was dry, but I was wet getting in, and the parking was very, very far from the location, and they didn't allow appointments. And I had to sit in there with some people had masks, some people were coughing. I made sure to wear a medical mask, a KN95, and then they wheeled in some poor woman that was on like a stretcher type of wheelchair who was completely like, she was conscious, but there was nothing there. And it was just very sad to see this woman waiting and, grunting and not knowing where she was. And then their computer broke. And now I have a little bit of anxiety over the fact that they took 4 x-rays instead of 1. I mean, we're just looking for the kidney stones. I don't want them to find something else while they're just trying to confirm what the heck happened to my stone, because the doctor said in surgery they couldn't really see very well in the x-ray in the surgery room. And so they really need this to see, like, is it blasted? Is it in a little billions of pieces in sand, or is it in chunks? Where is it? Could it still get stuck? Has it come out? Has it not come out? A $64,000 question. And Karen, Kelly, I did buy one of these today from 7-Eleven, but I've only drank less than half because I'm still worried. Oh, hi, Boston Bill. Let's see. April, she may never be found. I think the body is buried somewhere. This is a strange case. Yeah, if you were here earlier, you could watch it on a playback, Boston Bill. I told Karen and some of the other watchers that I went down the psychic rabbit hole last night, and I tuned into this woman in Australia where her and her daughter, Kayla, also coincidentally the same name as this Kayla Day, but a different Kayla, that they work with a spirit box. And supposedly they connected to her, and she's dead and she's drowned. She's in a lake near a mountain. But, I'm not saying this because I don't even believe in that. Everybody, we got 17 people here. Give me a thumbs up, even if it's just for the entertainment section. If anybody wants, I can go down all the clues that the lady reading the spirit box said. She's a very popular YouTuber. She's got thousands, tens of thousands of subscribers. She's not like a little teeny tiny channel like me. So thumbs up, subscribe, share the videos, share my channel. Kelly says, I agree. I think there's almost zero chance that she's alive and well. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Husafel. He said, hope healing for you. Your favorite, what, this? Diet root beer or A&W? This is zero. Because actually I didn't realize this, but there's an A&W diet, but that's not the same as A&W zero sugar. So this is no caffeine and no sugar. You'd be interested to hear the spirit box reading. Okay. Leanne, oh, welcome back. Something is telling me it's a robbery type situation gone wrong. They accidentally killed her and had to get rid of her body. It's definitely someone that's known. Maybe yes, maybe no. I do think it's someone that's known. Maybe not to her because somebody that's known to her is involved and they sent the heavies in to do the dirty work. They didn't take anything if it was a robbery or a burglary, and they came fully prepared to take somebody with that full backpack, I think. I'm not leaning towards robbery, burglary at this time. That sheriff keeps fumbling over his own words. I don't think he could find his head from a hole in the ground. Like, he keeps changing the story on that, and I don't care what they say publicly. Absolutely nobody has been cleared. I'll make that very clear. No one is clear. She basically, in this stupid, ridiculous spirit box reading, Boston Bill, not a robbery. I think they're after money. Something went wrong, but she was dead, I believe, from Jump Street. Kelly, I think they were preparing for an abduction, not a burglary or a robbery. Absolutely. She mentioned, I'll just say the words that she mentioned: drive, abducted, solution, south, so much rap music, disgraceful, losing strength, mountain, mountain with lake offshore, held a gun to me, cold, freezing, central, he, awful, 2020, taken, rap, under 40, regarding age. She did mention a name, but I don't know what context. Robin. Car, black, bumper. She also said Ranger Ford, not Ford Ranger, but Ranger Ford, but talked about it being a nice car and that the abductor was really into it and liked to rev it up. Cold regarding the water, freezing regarding the water. She used the word drowned. Tried to get away. Beard, brown, maybe because of the eyes or the hair. Long trip, high performance, meaning the car. He chased me, pulled me to the ground. It's scary, or she's scared. Held a gun to her, ordered her. She escaped. Something about a rock, something about a water and boat and a lake, but basically said drown. Now, the thing that, even though I'm not saying I believe in any of this, because this is just some person who's got, a monetized YouTube channel, and she's got to say whatever she's got to say to get her clicks. The person that was doing the reading did say something like, not worthy, when they were talking about the family and the news, that this is in the news. And it was an implication that she wasn't worthy of the family paying the ransom. And I hope that none of this is true and this is just a bunch of bull. And, this lady makes her, her lunch money from this channel or whatever she's doing with it. She seems like a nice woman. I shouldn't have gone down the psychic rabbit hole. Just like that, I don't believe it, but it ripped my heart out when the victim, who's obviously dead, or she wouldn't be talking through a spirit box, said she was not worthy. And I took that as meaning she wasn't worthy enough for her family to pay the ransom. And can you imagine if you were murdered and you were on the other side, but maybe you were kind of stuck because you weren't supposed to die that day. You died before your time, and now you're kind of stuck and you're tired and you're losing strength and you're cold and you're freezing and you're feeling like a piece of shit. You know, yeah, that's just that's. I hope that's not the case. I hope that if she is on the other side, that she's you know in whatever heaven is, or she's home and she's with her loved ones. So I will see. Karen says, see channeling Eric. Eric with a K, Erik. I will definitely check that out tonight, Karen, and thank you for putting that in here. Hussafel says, wonder if Nancy had a maintenance or gardener man who was familiar with her house. She did have someone that worked on the outside of the house, maybe a landscaper or somebody that worked on the lawn or a maintenance person. There was someone that worked inside the house and outside the house. Let's see. Bill says we may never know. True, that we may never know. Imagine how the family felt when they got that info. Well, hopefully they haven't seen it. If the Guthries are watching, don't watch any of the spirit box garbage. Just don't do it. Don't go down that rabbit hole. But I do think that when Savannah Guthrie, it seemed to me when she made her statement Sunday on Instagram, it just, in my heart, it felt like she was talking to someone specific. Like she knew who she was speaking to. And she said, it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it's never too late to do the right thing. And this was the post arrest of this Kayla person, this Kayla Noel Day, age 32, who is currently in Pima County Jail. I checked today to make sure she was still in there. No bail, no bond, but on 2 cases related to the 2025 situation where it may have something to do with her drug traffic case. But see, the fact that she knows this Luke Anthony Daly, and he supposedly knows the Jordanian guy that's connected to the Range Rover, and this is so close to like where Nancy lives and where these people of interest live and operate, but they've already been released. It doesn't mean they've been cleared. It just means they've been interviewed and released. And that all happened subsequent to this Kayla being detained, who is allegedly, and I'm going to be very clear about my words here, allegedly a niece or a cousin of the Guthrie family. Hussafel, gotta go. Have a wonderful evening. You too, Hussafel. Thanks for coming in. You can always watch it on the playback. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much coming in on this. And I just think this sheriff, and I don't want to criticize him, but, he's just made so many mistakes in the media. He needs some media training, how to speak to the press, because he keeps changing what he says, and then he says one thing and then he does another, or he backpedals and like, oh, this person, I didn't say that, and, but now I'm not excluding them. This person is cleared. Nobody is cleared. Let's secure the house with crime scene tape. Let's release it. Then the FBI comes out and secure it. Then they release it. And all these people have access and traipse all over the property. And, when there's a trial, you have to think about the future, how this is going to end. And somebody's going to get busted, probably more than one person. And there's going to be a big, big trial that's going to be on court TV and every news channel. And I'm sure that person or people, they're going to get represented by some, heavy duty, highfalutin defense attorney. And they're going to challenge all the evidence based on sloppiness of securing the crime scene. they may arrest somebody and charge someone, and someone may go to trial, but with all this sloppiness, it may be very hard to prove. Uh, but I'm still getting the vibes that it's someone very, very close to the family that's involved in this. Somebody that knew who she was and, knew that she has this rich, famous daughter and they've got money and they could possibly pay a ransom, or maybe she would just be more valuable to them if she was deceased because of a will or a trust or her house or however she has her assets assigned. There's just so much suspicion, and I don't know why the police have spent 14 to 15 days at the Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Sione home. I mean, they've been there for weeks, not just a couple of days. They've been there for weeks. Like, why is that? And now we have this possible niece, cousin, whoever she is, and she's definitely connected. Not maybe, definitely connected to this Daly family, who have been people of interest, but have since been released, not yet arrested. The only person that's been arrested is Kayla, and she hasn't been arrested for the Guthrie crime. She's been arrested on other things, but they're not letting her out. And all this other stuff comes down after she's incarcerated. I don't know. As a PI, I just don't believe in coincidences. Kelly says, I was even more concerned when her daughter said she would pay ransom if they see proof of evidence and nothing happened immediately. Of course, that's because she was no longer with us, in my opinion. I think she either died in the house or she died very soon thereafter. Like, you know, within 24 hours or less since this happened, she was probably already gone. This whole thing is like a twisted ball of twine. Yeah, this is really sucking the energy out of me. I don't even know this person, but I'm definitely I'm sympathetic. I'm empathetic to the plight of others. I've spent 42 years, well, 35 of them full time, um, fighting for justice and putting on my Batgirl suit and going out there every single day. And unlike you see in the TV shows or the movies in Los Angeles County, California, you can't go running out there with your gun and you have no badge as a PI, no gun. Even if you're a retired cop, a disabled cop, an active cop, you can't use that CCW during the employment as a PI, and you just can't get a permit in Los Angeles. Like, it's one of the only counties in the state that you can't. So I just went out there every day, like, unarmed, unless I was doing an armed job on private property, which, I had all the licenses to do that, or I worked for someone who did. So, um, I guess, like I said the other day on here, my Batgirl suit is hanging in my closet. And I would do anything to help anybody for the sake of justice. I don't care who you are. If you're a stranger, a friend, a family member, I do not condone criminal behavior in any way. I also don't condone animal abuse, child abuse, animals, children, elderly. Like, this is too much. That this poor 84-year-old woman who never did a bad thing to anybody, who seemed like a very nice person, had to, she lived 84 years and lived a nice life, to have to go out like this is just awful. And whoever did this, they need to be held accountable. I would give them the death penalty. If I would ask for the death penalty if I was a prosecutor. These people, they either need to be locked up for life and never get out, or they need to be executed. And I know that's a very strong word, but um, there's a lot of people that get wrongly convicted that got the death penalty and maybe they weren't guilty, but if they can prove who did this, I don't think they will get the death penalty, but that should definitely be on the table. Or, life in prison without the possibility of ever being paroled. Um, Kelly says they aren't telling the public. Oh, Karen said they aren't telling the public everything. Absolutely. Kelly says, I hope not. It would be sad if they gave away information that negatively affected the case. Who? I didn't see that comment right away. I was just rambling here. I hope not. It would be sad if they gave away information that negatively affected the case. Who gave away information? Be a little bit more specific because I'm a little slow today. Make sure I have a thumbs up in this video. Hit those red hearts, hit those smiley faces. And if you're watching for the first time, I hope you are subscribed. Hey, here's another Kellyanne. I heard they have a person of interest. I think they have several people. They have multiple people of interest, Kellyanne Sullivan. And I'd sure like to know more about this drug trafficker who's sitting in the Pokey and Pima County Jail right now, this female who may or may not be related to the Guthrie family. I'd like to know more about her and her relationship to this Daly family. Said if police or FBI gave away too much. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to reveal their hand. And then this sheriff, this is why he's not qualified for this. He doesn't know how to deal with the press. He doesn't know how to talk to the press. He provides too much information, then he backpedals, and everybody is a suspect. Nobody's cleared. I don't even care if he said that. I don't believe him. Absolutely nobody is cleared in this. Nobody. I do think this case is solvable. Maybe they need to raise the ransom. Or not the ransom, but the reward. The FBI, it started out at $2,500, then it went to $50, now it's at $100,000. Maybe the family needs to throw in some money, like, hey, we'll pay a reward too. But it has to lead to the person who did this and the conviction of that person, and the mother must be recovered, even if she's deceased. They need to have a body. Why is he giving one-on-one interviews? He should be busy working the case. Not, he was too busy with his 15 minutes of fame when this first broke. And the first 48 hours are the most important hours of a case, especially if it's a homicide. The first 48 hours is everything. But he was too busy being on TV. And then the next weekend, I guess he took a couple of days off and went to a basketball game. I'm just not impressed with the man. And apparently there was a lot of people in that sheriff's department that have already left before this all happened because they weren't happy with things that were going on in that sheriff's department. And I don't know if there was, corruption or there was just bad police work, but supposedly there's a lot of problems within that police department. And now they have to work with the FBI, and it's just a big, I don't think I can say this word on YouTube, cluster F. Let's just say it that way, cluster F. And that's why when they do get somebody, and somebody does go to trial, if somebody goes to trial on this, it's going to get very complicated because this has been such a cluster F, this investigation. A good defense attorney would, be able to twist everything around. The best thing that could happen is if some people just came forward and confessed for a lesser sentence. But I think anybody that's implicated in this will be facing life in prison. And it could go as far as the death penalty. Because this is someone who was the mother of a famous person. This is going to get it already has got a lot of coverage and attention worldwide. Leanne says, oh yeah, I forgot about his loaded backpack. I don't know. He just, Karen, he wants his 15 minutes of fame when you ask, why is he giving one on one interviews? That's a good question. Uh, no, Karen says it's only local FBI dealing. No, they actually have 400 agents that have come in from all over the country. This is a big operation. This is a very expensive operation. Can you imagine? They have to put up 400 agents from all over the country and pay for their travel and their hotel and their meals and their overtime. Kelly and Sullivan, as much as I wish she was alive, we all do. I don't think she is. People have just trying to make money off somebody else. Absolutely. And it's probably some piece of crap who, doesn't want to work and just, wants the easy way in life. It's crazy the money law enforcement is making. Yeah, there's a lot of overtime in this. And I don't think it's that significant that this DNA that they got from this glove isn't a match to anybody in the CODA system because there's too many gloves involved and we don't know if the glove that they sent for testing was even connected to this crime. We don't know. I don't think they're going to get very far with all these gloves when all these gloves were discarded all over Tucson. Now, if they have a glove that was inside of her house, which rumor is that there was something inside of the house that has DNA, that will be more helpful. What do you guys think? If you came in late, please go back through the replay. I'm going to make this short today. We're not going to go over an hour. And you can hear everything that I talked about earlier, including me going down the psychic rabbit hole and listening to the lady in Australia with the spirit box. Ugh. Kelly says, every time we discuss gloves, I hear, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Well, you know what? That case happened in Brentwood. And I worked in Brentwood, and I worked on the street where OJ lived. The office that I was in was on Mandeville, and it was, well, I was out in the field, but we moved from Santa Monica to Brentwood. We were located in Mandeville Canyon, and Rockingham Drive was one street over. We had clients on that street, and I know a lot about that case. Um, I know a lot about a lot of the people involved in that case. And, when OJ tried the glove on in the trial, he had one of those, like, um, he already had a plastic glove on. And I have some of those gloves because of stalker evidence that I would have to go pick up, and they would say, wear gloves. And so I used to have a whole box of those kind of gloves. I have them now for jewelry cleaning, and they're very thin. But while you're wearing those little thin rubber gloves, if you try to put on like a driving glove or a winter glove, it's not going to fit. And so when OJ was like, I can't get it, he had another glove on. They were trying to put a glove on over a glove. It's not going to fit. It's not going to fit. Karen, have you seen where an attorney has offered to pay reward money to Crime Stoppers to pay the tip guy? No questions asked. I saw where someone, and I wouldn't donate to this, just so you know, because somebody has started a GoFundMe saying that they're going to donate the money to this case. Is that what you're talking about? About the GoFundMe? Have you seen where an attorney has offered to pay reward money to Crime Stoppers to pay the tip guy? I haven't seen that one, but I've heard about the GoFundMe that just started. And I know it's a man, but I don't remember. I haven't looked at it like I wouldn't suggest anybody give money to that. Nobody needs to forward money to kidnappers, let the police and the FBI handle that. Things like that just jeopardize the case. No, Crime Stoppers reported it to somebody. Okay, I didn't see that. That's crazy. Nothing to make person spend money in that way. It brings everybody out of the woodwork. Let the reward be from the FBI or the family. You know, that's how the Ennis Cosby murder was solved. As soon as it was actually the National Enquirer that put up, I think it was $50,000, whatever it was. That brought everybody out of the woodwork, and within about 24 to 48 hours, they found the gun in Studio City in the LA River, which is just, concrete basin. Well, now it's actually got water in it now because of these storms. It's a raging river now. And you never want to get into that because you'll end up, you'll be dead before you hit the ocean in Long Beach. But yeah, somebody found the gun in Studio City, and it was this Russian gangster kid that had just come over from the USSR. Kelly, I heard they took her because her daughter is a news broadcast person that makes a lot of money. That could be. I don't think this was a random abduction or a random kidnapping of just some random person. She was definitely targeted because there was money there. There's nothing about this that even slightly resembles a normal kidnapping. And I don't believe these people are professionals. Kellyanne, I'm still wondering if it's a family member. Yeah, watch the beginning of the video on the playback, and you'll see what I had to say about that. But here on my channel, which these videos are public, this is just like a podcast style live where we're just discussing all the possibilities, and we're not naming anybody a suspect or, pointing towards the guilt or innocence of anybody. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Kayla somebody. Yeah, Kayla Noel Day. You need to, her face, it's not a great picture. I had a very hard time making that thumbnail. I might have to make a different one because I don't have a good picture of her. So that thumbnail kind of sucks. I might have to work on that a little later and get a better thumbnail. But she's the one that's currently incarcerated in Pima County Jail. Boston Bill. Somebody knows something. Yes, had to do with money. Something went wrong, and I believe family is involved somehow. Yes. Yes, Karen, we are playing Clue. Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick. I haven't played that game probably since I was like a minor, so I remember it very well. Maybe you can solve the case, Karen. Yeah, and I kind of wish I didn't go down that psychic rabbit hole last night with the spirit box lady in Australia. I kind of wish I hadn't heard that one. Yeah, I haven't played board games in years. I mean, I live alone. I can't play with the rabbit and the cat. And in LA, it's not like a small town where you invite people over to play games. Everybody's too busy. That's a big city life here. Everybody's hopping. Kellyanne Sullivan. So after she was taken, they found blood outside, and it was her blood. Yes, I believe she's dead, but who's trying to make money off this poor woman? Somebody very close to the Guthrie family, I believe. But I could be wrong. Janet Teague. Oh, hi, Janet. I think the sheriff was wrong when he cleared the whole family. It just doesn't add up. The whole kidnapping doesn't make sense. Yeah, nobody's been cleared. I don't care what he says. Nobody's cleared in this. Everybody's a suspect. Everyone. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Got 13 people in. Thank you very much. I'm going to wrap this up really, really soon. If you didn't hear me talk about Kayla Noel Day, go back to the beginning of this. If you didn't hear me talk about going down the psychic rabbit hole and some of the key phrases that were said allegedly in that spirit box interview, well, it wasn't really an interview. It was like a mom and a daughter, and they, the mom says the questions, and then the daughter has the headsets on, and she's listening to the words that are being revealed in the spirit box. And but it was even if it was just for entertainment, it was a hard video to watch or to listen to. Boston Bill, exactly. Clearing the family puts certain people at ease. That's when mistakes are made. Exactly. That's what I've heard, Karen. Any spirit can jump on a spirit box. I would love it if something like that was real. Then I'd want to learn how to use it. I'm sure all you guys would be tuning in like, oh, that's so cool. But, my heart's not into that, I'm a detective, for Christ's sakes. It's just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Boston Bill says, absolutely, me too. It was interesting, though. But then the ending, what they said at the end about she felt she wasn't worthy of the ransom, in so many words, that just, even though I don't really believe it was her, that was kind of gut wrenching. It was pretty darn specific, though. I was just like, but see, on most YouTube channels where you listen to a spirit box, you hear a voice. You hear the voices that are coming out. You hear the signals. But in this case, they have the headphones on, and only the daughter hears it, or the assistant, and translates it to the YouTuber that has the channel. And there's a lot of dead space that they edit out because they don't want people to just be sitting there like, waiting for the answers. So I don't know how any of that works. But anyway, everybody, thumbs up. If you haven't seen the whole thing, this will be an hour video or so, and you can go back on the playback once it uploads to YouTube. I thank everybody for coming in, and once again, like, if we, get any breaking news on this, I'll be happy to come back. I hope you guys are subscribed. I hope you guys have clicked that bell. And once again, I thank you so much